I was a licensed real estate agent at a traditional brokerage, but I also felt stuck. Not growing, no mentorship, trying to do everything on my own. Does that sound familiar? That's when I decided it's time to make a change, and how this decision transformed my business. What's up, guys? Anthony Esposito with EXP Realty. And I used to be an electrician for 15 years before I got into real estate itself. And the reason why I wanted to get into real estate, well, first and foremost, I always had a passion for homes for whatever reason. But ever since my sister passed when I was at a young age, I wanted to help people. If you would have told me back then it was real estate, I would have laughed it off. So I was looking to help people. I wanted to build wealth, and I knew I wanted to run my own business. And the career of an electrician, it just wasn't adding up to that style. And truth be told, I wasn't always at EXP. I started out at your traditional brick and mortar brokerage, which I'm very grateful for. I learned a decent amount there. They were the ones that got me into real estate because I was informed by agents I bought a house with through them that you could do it part-time. So I signed up the next day they told me that, and here we are. But it wasn't until I needed to grow more and I was leaving the field of an electrician when things became more clear. It seemed like there was a lack of scalable training. There was no onboarding help. It was, hey, you're licensed, good luck, essentially, especially my time because I got licensed right when COVID hit. So that was super fun. But there was also the fact that even throughout my time that I was there, I felt like I needed to YouTube everything to figure out what was going on. How could I be an agent? Because if you are thinking about doing this and you haven't gone through the classes, they teach you in the classes how to not get sued, basically. These are the legal aspects of it. They don't teach you how to actually be an agent. So I had to YouTube everything, which is how I found my sponsor that I have at EXP and why I'm where I'm at now. But the training felt a little bit outdated, the training that I was getting. It was very old school method, very salesy in a sense. And I knew that wasn't working with everything that I was finding online and everything that I was researching from, big time agents. That old school mentality was just out the door. And it just kind of felt like a lowest common denominator kind of feeling with that training. There was no advanced support for things like content, advertising, like systems, and especially branding. There was no means towards branding itself. It was more so about that brokerage I was at, which, I knew we could do our own branding, but I also didn't understand how to do our own branding to an extent. And with where I'm at with EXP, I could have everything is me to the T, the way I want to run my business. But, I wasn't looking for hand-holding in, any way, shape, or form, but it would have been nice to have that roadmap. Not having that roadmap, it kind of gives you that, no real leadership or vision kind of vibe with it. No one above me was helping to the full extent that is needed when you are a brand new agent or even an experienced agent that's just trying to continue to thrive. The two leaders in the group, great people, but they're so busy with their own production schedule that they have to fit you in a short time frame in order to essentially just blast everything all at you at once. And when you are trying to hit the ground running, especially fresh, brand new to this business, you are trying to take in everything you can because this is a commission-based business. If checks aren't coming in, if you're not, getting leads, you're not making money. There was also there was a family feeling towards it, but there was nothing that was pushing your business further is how I should word it. Like, there was no systems in place. When I first got there, there was no CRMs in place, anything like that. I didn't even know what a CRM was until they finally got one, and it was kind of like, here you go, figure it out. And I don't know if you know anything about CRMs. They can be very robust, very overwhelming, and if you don't have the proper training, you're not going to utilize it the way that you need to utilize it. And that's one thing we need in the business is systems and processes. Like, we got to have that stuff dialed in. So at a certain point, I kind of realized I wasn't being led. I was just kind of existing. Like, I was just another part-time agent, even though at that time I was trying to push to get to full-time. Now, early on, I thought the commission split was tremendous because I looked into a couple different avenues, and I learned early on that there was some brokerages, especially with some teams, where your take-home cut was even less. So they started at a 70-30, which, that's a good amount. And then you had the possibility to hit 80-20, but that was it. At that point, it was done. You were finished, and it just felt like, it had to reset every year, just like every other brokerage that I know of that is out there. But there wasn't any additional support for giving that up, where here at EXP, you start at 80-20. And then the nice thing is when you cap, you're at 100% commission after that. That's it. Where at my traditional brokerage, you would essentially cap and you would be at that 80-20 split, and that's the most that you end up getting. So I was kind of looking in the terms of, okay, how much money am I truly leaving on the table? And once I started running some numbers, I was leaving thousands of dollars on the table for being, a solo agent and basically trying to have to figure out everything on my own. And with the traditional brick and mortar brokerage, there's no retirement plan that's set up. Me leaving the career of an electrician in the trade, I had 401k, pension annuity, I should say. I had that stuff kind of lined up, ready to go, and it would just keep piling up and accumulating over the years. With my last brokerage, there was no retirement plan. So I knew going full time, I needed to do something. And one of the great things that I found with EXP is the fact that they have 3 streams of income that are coming in, 2 of which are passive. So you got your commission, which your production, and then there's the rev share, and then they also have the stock form of things. And in order to build wealth, you need to have multiple streams of income. So I knew that there was something there, but I just wasn't sure exactly what was going on with EXP. I wasn't diving deep enough into it, but I had to plan for my future. And knowing that there's 1 stream of income over here and 3 streams of income over here was a huge green flag and a driving factor to find out exactly what the hell EXP was all about. So as I started diving more into modern style real estate, I understood that I needed a lot of tools at place, and I was not getting those tools. There, like I said, for a good portion of it, there was no CRM. There was no training aspects of things. There was no content support. I knew doing modern real estate, it was all about content. So there was, hey, you could speak with so-and-so about, what they do for their content, and they're paying a coach for, thousands of dollars every single month. Where I was like, well, why am I gonna pay all that money per month for a coach when I can get it for free over at EXP and The Wolfpack? So why pay that money? I mean, it's kind of common sense there. There was no marketing automation. Again, like the content, social media training was non-existent whatsoever. I was kind of pushing it, and I was one of the few at that time that were really diving into it, but I was doing it like organically. I wasn't paying anybody to try and figure it out. I was on YouTube like crazy and just looking everything up, trying to dial it in, but I still didn't have, the proper steps to take, the proper leadership to really dial in like all the digital tools that are out there. Now, you're manually following up, you're posting, you're prospecting, and there's really no leverage whatsoever on the traditional sides of things. And you're just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. And that's not what you need to do. There has to be, like I said, systems and processes that need to be in place. You learn how to do your CRMs, and it has automation all thrown out there for you to make your business more efficient. And the big thing is, with modernized real estate, with social media and content, you could put out hours and hours and hours of content. But if it is not optimized right, if you're not recording it properly with hooks and like everything to go along with it, and having this thing SEO and dialed in, you're going to just be wasting your time, because it is not going to produce the way that you want it to produce. So it kind of felt like I was operating like an old school playbook that, was the days of old, trying to go through a phone book and just make phone calls and just be like, hey, you want to sell your house? That does not work anymore. Everything has gone modern, and I knew I wanted that modern brand. I didn't want to door knock, and I didn't want to cold call forever in my career, year in, year out, until I'm retired. I wanted to build a business. And that was the moment, that was my turning point, when I knew, okay, I am not just a realtor. I am a real estate business owner. I want to be an entrepreneur. I need to build my brand. I need to build my business where I want it, to what I want to do. Not the traditional way of doing things, year in, year out, busting my ass, making cold calls like crazy, and never really gaining that time and that like money freedom that we all dream about. We hear about it all the time. All of us want time and money freedom, but it was not possible. And that was my turning point, when I realized that I needed to do something different. Now was the time for change. If I'm gonna make this happen, I gotta make it happen now. So after following my sponsor for the majority of the time I was at my last brokerage, and seeing the model of EXP before speaking with him, it just seemed like it was a complete pyramid scheme, red flag, shut off. I was done, out, wanted nothing to do with it. But then that change hit when I wanted to build a business. And I said, what is it gonna hurt signing up and getting on a Zoom call for 30 minutes to hear exactly what EXP is and what the Wolfpack has to offer for me? And what I found out during that 30 minutes was, it is not a pyramid scheme, because I actually learned the model itself. It was explained to me. Because let's face it, every brokerage has pros. Every brokerage has cons. They're not all perfect. And I learned that the model that just is spewed out there completely screams pyramid scheme like no other, because it's all rev share, agent attraction, and that's not what EXP is all about. It is not just about attracting agents. We're leading the way in production, in sales, and we just keep growing. And one of the nice things is that I learned, even with the Wolfpack, they took what EXP is, went through their flaws and what they're missing or lacking, and they gave that aspect to it. And here's the big thing. I was given to it for free. So my sponsor runs a business, a couple different businesses, and we get that stuff free of charge. No cost to us, just because we are in the Wolfpack, which is fantastic. It's a huge value prop, and it gives us so many different things, which I will get into that in later videos of exactly what it is, what you get, like all sorts of, training capability. And they were giving exactly what I wanted. Instead of having, once a month with just a couple odds and ends agents of training at my last brokerage, we're getting multiple mastermind calls every single week. Throughout the whole week, there is mastermind calls that are happening, and they're giving us training after training after training. And it's not just one person that's doing it. It's, leaders that are part of the Wolfpack. So we're getting, we may have open house strategies one week, and then a few weeks later we have open house strategies again, but it's a different agent. So what we're able to do is take from multiple people all over the place, combine it all together, turn it into our own, and the results show themselves. And it's not just about, like coming into EXP and getting your agent attraction going and, you got to recruit. No, there's tons of agents. They don't recruit one bit. I've never recruited a day in my life. All I'm worried about is focusing on production and just continuing to help not just clients with buying and selling real estate, but also helping out fellow agents that are out there, ensuring that you get the right training. And I learned that the revenue share and the stock, that is in a scalable model. As long as you put in the work, it does not work by itself. You have to do the work for it, but the work pays off. I promise you that. So it wasn't just a hype, it was alignment for exactly what I wanted. And I get it, EXP is not for everyone. It may not be for you, but it was for me. And since joining, my business has skyrocketed. I started a YouTube channel a while back now, which it is a beast to go through on YouTube and figure out what to do. It is not as easy of just picking up a phone, recording a quick video, and posting it to your Instagram story. It is not like that at all. Way more involved. But I had the exact steps from A to Z, 1 through 10, however you want to look at it. Everything was given to me, and I was directed and guided. I figured out my brand. I figured out my social media of getting that dialed in. I got my systems and processes in place. I learned my CRM of how to actually use it, because that thing is even a monster in itself. And it was all getting help from people within EXP and also people within, especially people within the Wolfpack. And I've been producing organic leads without cold calling, without door knocking, without paid ads, none of that traditional stuff. I've gotten leads, clients, closed clients between YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, my website, you name it, for doing nothing, absolutely nothing. And it has been a blessing in disguise. I really wish I would have done it sooner. And the crazy thing is the fact that my first month coming over to EXP, it wasn't insanely overwhelming, because when you come over, they throw all the onboarding stuff on you, and it's like, here you go. Leaders in the Wolfpack, my sponsor, they guided me how to go through the onboarding, kept it very low key, very easy, step by step. Here's how you get established. Here's where you start. Here's where you're gonna finish. And it just made it really nice, because I learned more in my first month at being at EXP with the Wolfpack than I did in the previous years being at my traditional broker. And I mean previous years. 3 years. I learned more in 1 month. And we continue to grow and continue to learn more every single day, every single week, every month. It has just been absolutely amazing. And again, I'm not saying this is for everyone, but it's definitely been the best decision that I've ever made. But let me know in the comments down below if some of this hit home, because I wanted to make this initial video for, you know, the other agents that are out there that feel like there's more, but you're really not sure what it looks like. And I'm happy to share, you know, what this shift could look like for you. No obligation, no salesy pitch, just telling you exactly what is going on. You know, just either let me know in the comments down below, or you can book a call with me. I got my calendar link in the description down below, or you can contact me directly here through my email. Either way, I'm happy to explain exactly what's going on, kind of see where your situation is at, and just tell you what EXP is all about and what the Wolfpack is all about. If you got any value from the video, be sure to smash the like button. It's greatly appreciated. And if you want to stay up to date on more agent tips, tricks, everything that there is to know of how to be a producing agent, and also things with EXP, be sure to click subscribe and turn notifications on, because I got plenty of great videos heading your way.